Hello and welcome to the latest podcast. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me today, very special guest, of course, the man that won the WCW World Heavyweight title, the man that was the head writer for the WWF. He is Mr. Vince Russo. Vince, welcome back. How you doing?
Welcome, John. Nice to be here again with you. Always like doing these interviews with you, man.
But you hate talking about wrestling. I
Hate
can't
wrestling
believe
with a
that.
pat. I hate
I
it, bro.
know. Like,
Can't
why
stand
is
it.
that?
There is nothing that there's nothing. I mean, bro, when I say nothing, I mean there is nothing appealing. I mean, just nothing, zero. It's a 100% job. That's it.
Back then, though, like back in the day, you were into it, though, right?
Well, I mean, bro, bro, I was I was a fan of wrestling, like no difference than me being a fan of Kiss. I was
Yep.
never this super ultra wrestling mark. I enjoyed the genre, like I said, man, just like I would enjoy a Kiss or a Rocky, franchise. It was on my list of things that I enjoyed, but never at any point was I like over the top a wrestling mark.
Nowadays, current wrestling, obviously, you're just doing it because it's a job, and you get paid for it, and obviously because of the brand, they want you to talk about it. Anything appealing? Anything that you like about it today?
Nothing, zero. I'm not saying that, bro, to be negative. Honestly, there's nothing that interests me. Just absolutely nothing.
When you look at today's business and just the way it is, if you were writing, I know that's kind of like a crazy question, but if you're writing it, how would you kind of not go into the weeds and go crazy, but how would you make it better just off the bat? Because you know what I mean? Like, how could you make it more interesting? How could you make the characters more interesting?
The backdrop of the entire show would be the show. That would be the backdrop. The Vince McMahon story, Triple H. That would be the backdrop of the entire show. People being affected, how they're being affected. Everybody, come on, bro. Everybody and their mother are reading about the sale of the company. That's on every major news outlet. That isn't on just wrestling sites. Not addressed, not talked about. My God, bro, the storyline you could have had with Vince McMahon coming in and out, and Triple H has power and no power, and now, Vince fires people, Vince leaves, Triple H brings people back, Vince comes back. Those people are concerned with their jobs. You've got so much meat on the bone, bro, where you could take a realistic approach and still work it any way you want. But when you're completely ignoring that and giving me fake, boring, stupid, long wrestling matches, there's no interest for me.
Now, the real interesting part to me is they do those press conferences now with Triple H, and they do that. And when Nick Houseman asked a real question, I don't know if you saw that or not, if you covered that at all or not, but Triple H was like, "Nope, not going to answer it." So it's like he wouldn't talk about the sale. He wouldn't answer any like legitimate questions. But hey, if you want to know what Triple H thought about Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair,
Yeah,
he'll
no,
talk about it all
exactly.
day.
Then it's not a press conference. Bro, come on. Reporters go into a press conference. They can ask whatever questions, they want to ask. And they're not gonna ignore half of the questions that they don't want to talk about. So think about that, bro. We're having a press conference based on fake matches, and everybody's gonna stay in character. It's freaking bizarro land to me, John. It just really, really, really is. Why don't you want to talk about the sale, bro? Like seriously, Vince went on Squawk Box and talked about the sale. So why can we talk about the sale there, but we can't talk about the sale here and how it affects people?
I just thought that was so interesting, and Triple H like laughed it off, like, "Of course I'm not going to answer it." But wouldn't that be a great question to answer at the press conference, considering a day later he had to go on Raw and be like, "Nothing's changing. Yeah, we sold, but not like he still had to address it 2 days in a row."
Bro, listen, let's be honest, John. The press conferences are a joke. And the only reason they're doing it is to let those dirt sheet marks in. Bro, you know they're laughing at these people behind the scenes. And sometimes they're laughing at them right in front of their face, because all they're doing is they're catering to these people, trying to literally get their audiences. That's the only reason they're doing it, bro. I mean, it's the notion of that is just absolutely ridiculous.
The funny thing is, whenever somebody asks like a legitimate question or a real question, everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Like, "Whoa!" Like, isn't that what their job is? What they're supposed to do? Because when Nick asks like a legit question, people were like shocked, like, "I can't believe he asked that." Like, well, that was on everyone's mind in there. I'm sure they just were afraid to ask it.
Exactly. And think about that, bro. You're a journalist and you're going to go to a press conference afraid to ask questions. Like it's just bizarre to me, bro. It's just so bizarre to me, man.
I guess you're trying to stay in with them, but I think if you are like a real journalist and you do ask the real questions, I think you should be invited back to every press conference and have like a legitimate question for them to answer because
Yeah, but
they're not asked a lot.
what's the point if they're not going to answer it though,
Yeah,
John,
it's
you
true
know?
too. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just hoping like eventually Triple H will answer a legitimate
Yeah.
question. But it's weird. It's like, okay, let's just go to the safe questions or let's talk about the work or let's talk about Roman Reigns' title run. Like it wasn't, I don't know, I just like laugh at him like, well, I want to know about the sale. I want to know about Vince. I want to know about this. And they won't address any of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Heyman made a joke about it, like that maybe let Triple H answer it or something, but you could tell he was like smiling because he's knowing that like, wow, I can't believe somebody asked a legitimate
Yeah,
question.
bro. That
Yeah,
I'm just telling you, bro. I know the plays and I know the game. And that press conference, it's a joke to them. I mean, they're laughing at Nick Houseman. I mean, I'm just telling you, bro. That may sound mean for me to say. That's the reality of it. And all they're trying to do, bro, is try to kiss up to get wrestling's audience and Fightful's audience and all these audiences. So they're going through the motions, but they know it's ridiculous.
that is on my mind and on everyone else's mind. So it's like, all right, thank God somebody asked. But then, of course, like, oh, you roll your eyes. Of course, he's not going to answer it, or he
Right.
laughs it off, going, "Yeah, thanks for the question. I'm not answering it." Like, come on,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess, and you've talked about it for a while. Triple H maybe doesn't have as much power as it's perceived that he has. You know what I
He
mean? Like
doesn't
maybe
have
he can't.
any, he doesn't have any power now. I mean, if anybody saw that squawk interview, what's that Ari's last name? Fleischman? What is the guy who owns
Fleischner or
Fleischman? Yeah.
Fleischman?
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, bro, he made it clear he's been friends with Vince McMahon for 23 years. Vince McMahon was part of the deal. He wants Vince McMahon in charge. He is not going to get involved in anything, creatively wrestling. He's just going to promote it and market it much the same way he does with UFC. And he made it 1000% clear Vince McMahon has all the power. So as far as Triple H's position and what Triple H is going to be doing going forward, that's all up to Vince. It is 1000% in Vince's hands. And bro, I'm going to tell you this, John, because see, people don't understand because they don't know Vince. Okay, bro, when Vince wanted to come back to the board, Triple H, Stephanie, and Nick Khan voted against it. Okay, that is a fact. They voted against it. It was at that time, I'm telling you, bro, that Vince made the decision. You voted against me coming this. What do you think? You're going to be running this company? This is going to be yours. I guarantee you, bro, that at that time, Vince said, Stephanie, Triple H, you will own this company over my dead body. I will sell this company before I die, and it goes to the two of you. And I guarantee you, bro, that's when he got on the phone with his buddy, what's his face?
Ari.
Ari. And that's when the deal was made. And bro, I guarantee you, bro, because Vince McMahon taught me this himself. Bro, when Shawn Michaels was doing his Xanax and whatever shit he was doing, he was causing so many problems in the WWE locker room, bro. The locker room hated Shawn. He didn't get along with anybody. And I remember it was just me and Vince. And I swear to God, I said, Vince, I just got to ask you something. Why are you keeping the guy hanging around? You know, no one wrestler is bigger than the company. I was basically saying, why aren't you firing him? And Vince McMahon turned to me and he says, because Vince, my father taught me, when you're going to fire somebody, you're going to fire them on your time. So in other words, if Vince could still make money off of Shawn, Vince was going to make that money. And then on his time, he was going to let Shawn go. Bro, I guarantee you, a year from now, Nick Khan will not be with that company. I promise you, I guarantee you. Stephanie, bro, come on. Let's look at what happened here. Okay, those three voted against Vince. That's a fact. Stephanie's home. She doesn't even have anything to do with the company anymore. Triple H has zero power. And according to Ari on Squawk Box, he's going to be doing everything Nick Khan was doing. He's going to be getting the television rights deal. He's going to be taking, there's no reason for Nick Khan anymore, bro. He's going to be doing that. I am telling you, bro, you don't cross Vince McMahon. You're never, ever, ever going to win that. And then people have forgotten those three voted against him, bro. He's never going to forget that.
Yeah, with Ari and Deborah and his group, they probably don't need Khan anymore, although he just made $16 million on the sale. So, I mean, he'll be happy walking out too.
Of
But
course, no, don't get me wrong, bro. The guy's freaking a millionaire. Don't get me wrong. But with this sale, he's not needed.
Do you think Stephanie really quit? Do you think she was fired?
Oh, I think Stephanie quit. Bro, come on, man. Bro, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this, John, because see, John, you understand this shit. These are the freaking stupid marks out there have no clue to what they're talking about. Let me lay this down for you so you understand clearly. I have always said, when I left the WWE, me and Ferrara, okay, Vince McMahon made the biggest mistake in the history of the company when he put Stephanie McMahon in charge of creative. And I basically say that, John, because I know Stephanie was sitting in on the creative with me and Ed, okay, for over a year. And I can tell you there wasn't a creative bone in her body. And bro, that's not a knock against Stephanie McMahon, bro. Like, you're either creative or you're not. And on the other side of the coin, bro, you either have business acumen or you don't. I don't have any business acumen. I can't tell you how many of my own businesses I've put out of business. It's two completely different skill sets. She was not a creative person. And I said, he made a horrible mistake, bro, because no matter how bad the creative gets, he will never fire Stephanie because that's his daughter and he's not going to leave egg on her face. Vince is not going to do that. And bro, you and I both know, and everybody can go look at the numbers, creative got really bad, really bad.
Awful.
And she remained in that position because if Vince would have fired her, let her go, moved her somewhere else, no matter how he tried to sugarcoat it, it would have been a failure. And he wasn't going to do that to his daughter. However, now let's look at what happened here. The NDAs, all this dirt comes out on Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon goes home, and now Stephanie is brought in as the CEO, whatever her role was. Okay, now she's in charge of the company. Okay, Vince gets to the point, bro, where he's sat home long enough. He's starting to second guess the decision of people telling him he needs to go home. Okay. Now he makes it clear that he is coming back. Okay, bro. So now those three vote against him. Now, not only is he coming back, he is coming back in the same position he was before. That means Stephanie is no longer the CEO. I'm telling you, bro, when they voted against him coming back, they changed the rules of the game. And Vince basically said, you voted against me? Really? Well, guess what? I'm coming back. I am the CEO again. He left the egg on Stephanie's face that time, and she had no other choice, bro, but to turn around. And bro, she even publicly said, I don't have anything to do with the company anymore. I'm just a fan on the sidelines rooting along. That's exactly what happened, bro. That's exactly how it went down. And like I said, Stephanie's home. Got nothing to do with the company. Triple H has zero power, and the only one left there is Nick Khan, and we already know he's not negotiating the television rights deal because Ari said that that's what Endeavor was going to do.
Yep.
You don't cross him, bro. I'm telling you, you don't cross Vince. Bro, John, I knew, bro, when Vince gave me the line about get a nanny to raise your kids, and I got in contact with WCW. Okay, bro, I knew when I got on that plane to go to Atlanta, I knew I was signing with WCW because there was no way in hell Vince wasn't going to find out. And if Vince found out that I went to get interviewed by WCW and I crossed him, oh my God, bro, he would have had my head on a silver platter. That's why I knew the second I got on that plane, when I leave Atlanta, I'm going to be working for WCW. I knew that, bro, because you don't cross the boss.
He used to always say that too. Don't cross the boss.
He's right. He's right, bro.
I'm just curious, like going forward too, because he's got even more power as far as Endeavor and UFC, because he's the executive chairperson. So he's the tippy top of the chair. Not that he wasn't in WWE, but now you add Endeavor and UFC in that merger. So I mean, he gained more power and he made billions on the sale. You know, that goes in his pocket. So man, he ended up, and it's funny. Last July, everyone, oh, he's gone, he's retired. Fast forward to
Bro,
April, and the guy is more power than he
John,
ever had in
he
his life.
played it so masterfully. I mean,
Yeah.
my God, the way he played his hand, they weren't even in the same league as him, bro. They were never in the same league as him. And that is a shrewd businessman. That's why Vince McMahon is a billionaire. And that's why there is nobody better than him in playing that game, bro.
I just think it's amazing that a lot of the fans thought like, "Oh yeah, he's gone. Triple H is in charge," as if Vince wasn't controlling something from behind the scenes the whole time. He wasn't retired. Come on, I mean,
Oh, of
who
course
bought that?
not.
They
Of
all,
course
they fell
not.
for hook, line, and sinker. He never
Oh
retired.
God, of course. I kept asking that question, like, what do you guys think he's doing, bro? Like seriously, what do you think? What is Vince McMahon's typical day? Okay, bro, he wakes up at 4 a.m. and he works out. Okay, then what do you think he does, guys? You think he's putting his television on? You think he's watching a reruns of the Andy Griffith show? Like, what do you think he's doing? No doubt, bro, he was still pulling the strings.
And the funny thing is, people didn't pick up on this. I think you mentioned this one time a while ago. The gym that he works out at is in the office. So he
Right,
goes to the office, quote unquote, every day. He goes to the gym every day. So it's
right,
not like he never stopped going to the office. He went there every day. He was going to the gym
right.
every day. You think
Absolutely.
he's just going to the gym and leaving? Like that's it? Come on, people.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Please. Please.
That is funny that wasn't really reported on. Like, oh, he's in the office again. He's in the office. Oh no,
Bro,
he's just at the gym.
none of the important stuff is
Yeah,
reported, bro. None of it ever reported, man.
I mean, he definitely went to the gym to work out, but that's not the only reason he was at the office that day. You know what I mean? He's
Right.
not retired.
Yep. Absolutely not. Yep.
But that'll be an ongoing story, of course, for a while for
Yeah.
Vince. But let's
And
talk
like I
about
said, that's how I would change television. That's exactly how I would change television. The problem, bro, is they don't know how to do it because you got to work it. I mean, you've got the story, but you've got to alter the story the way you want to alter it. And they just don't know how to do it, bro. They don't know anything but fake, phony wrestling matches. I mean, that's all they know. So when they have something like this, they don't know how to write it because they're not writers.
and it would be interesting. Real life stuff is more interesting than the phony stuff for sure.
Absolutely. Yep.
So let's talk about the topic at hand today. In Your House, Bad Blood, 1997. It was on October 5th, 1997, St. Louis, Missouri at the Kiel Center. The attendance, 21,151. Pay-per-view buys, 240K. So great attendance. St. Louis always has good crowds.
Yeah. Great wrestling town, man.
The pay-per-view buys, 240 is not bad either. Like, kind of going in the upward trend. Vince McMahon, this will pretty much be the last pay-per-view that he's going to be the lead announcer on. He's going to stop calling it because obviously next month he's going to be Mr. McMahon, and that's going to take his character and the WWF into the stratosphere. What's your role at this point?
Oh no, I'm heavily involved by this point because, bro, I always say this, and I always want to make this perfectly clear. Perfectly clear. Uh, the brainchild of the character Kane, that was Bruce.
Right.
So, like, there was already the idea of this Kane, and then when I got involved creatively, Bruce laid out this Kane character for me. And once he laid it out for me, then I started, writing that story for Undertaker and Kane. So, like, that's why I know, because you smartened me up early on. This was the first time we saw Kane. So
Yep.
this is really where the story starts. And yeah, bro, I was really writing that week to week Undertaker Kane story, but Kane was not my brainchild.
Kane's actually the name of his son too, Bruce. So he
Yes.
loves the name Kane. He loves that. And there's
Yes.
that picture from Creative Services, or many pictures, when they do the Kane documentary, the A&E stuff, and even on the network, they had a couple things on Kane. The cool pictures from Creative Services, some without the mask, some with the mask, some with a cape, some without. But the general idea that he's like red and black. He's Undertaker's brother, so he's monstrous, but he has long hair, kind of looks like Taker, but with a mask on. I mean, really cool stuff from Creative Services,
They were
almost like
great,
comic
bro.
book character esque.
Bro, I swear to God, John, I lost all faith in the WWE when this happened, bro. This is the TL Hopper, Freddie Joe Floyd, Mantar period, right?
Yeah.
Bro, you got to understand, I swear to God, the publications department was right next to Creative Services. The woman's office right next to mine was the woman who rendered those drawings. She did them. That was the woman. What you saw her on the special. So, John, what I used to do was, when she wasn't in her office, I would sneak in her office, look on her desk, and see what she was working on, just to know what was coming down the pipeline.
Yep.
And I'll never forget, John, I walked in there one day and I'm looking at her desk to see her drawings and shit. And bro, she was working on the character What? Remember who, bro?
Yes. Yes.
There
And I know
was
where we're going.
going
Yeah.
to be a What? And at that point, I was like, are you effing kidding me? Like, at that point, I was like, you guys are so clueless at this point, like it's not even funny. Yeah, there was going to be a What? I'm assuming to tag team with who?
Is that a lot on the person doing the drawing, or is that the person that's relaying the info, like
No,
Vince or
that's
Bruce relaying
Bruce.
the
That's
info?
that's
Oh, okay.
that's Bruce. That's Bruce giving her the direction for this new character.
Oof, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
Kane, though, on the other hand, is an
Oh yeah,
awesome one.
great. Absolutely, man. No doubt. That's why I always make sure to give Bruce credit, man. No doubt.
Great idea, obviously, Undertaker's brother. Does he legitimately exist? I mean, that was a really, really good idea. It's just because it made Undertaker, after a while, he kind of got lame. Then Mankind came in, okay, built him back up again, but then he kind of got lame again. It's like, all right, what can we do with this guy? Kane basically like reignited his career for years. It's like, wow, this is actually interesting again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With him
Yeah,
and
and
Kane.
bro, there really was no story. The only thing there really was he's got this brother Kane, and like, there was a fire, but that disfigured him. But that's all that was really given to me. So I just kind of had to connect the dots and just come up with a story that made sense.
So, got to start out on a somber note because as this pay per view is about to air, October 5th, 1997, Brian Pillman passes away that day, earlier that day,
Oh
the
my
day
God!
of
You
the
see,
pay per view.
I didn't even connect those dots. Bro, I swear to God that what I remember vividly about that day is, yeah, bro, we're getting ready for the pay per view, and the news comes in, and the news starts going around the locker room, and I'll never forget, bro, the Heart Foundation. I think they had something that day.
Yep.
They were all dressing together. They were all in the same area. And I swear to God, I remember Owen coming up to me and telling me, Vince, like, bro, is it true? Like, is Brian, really dead? Is it true? Like, he was in such denial. Bro, that's the thing. That's why, man, I always defend Vince about the decision to continue the show when Owen passed. Because, bro, when stuff like that happens, you're not thinking in your right mind. Like, it's so surreal. Like, these guys are waiting for Pillman to walk in the locker room, get dressed, they got a match, and then you get this news, and there's this period of time where, like, the reality hasn't settled in yet. And that's why, with Vince and the show continuing, bro, nobody in that spot would have been in the right frame of mind. I mean, you just weren't, bro. And that's why I always remember that about Owen, because it was like, they found out about it, but it still wasn't sinking in. It was still very, very, very surreal. So yeah, bro, I remember that moment really, really vividly.
Man, it's just crazy. Like, you go to the show and, Pillman, you don't even think like one of the wrestlers is dead for the show. And sadly, in the 90s, this happened a few times. You
Yep.
obviously had
Yep.
Owen Hart too, but Louis Piccoli in WCW. I mean, this happened a bunch in the 90s. It's just so unfortunate. Rick Rude and Bulldog. I mean, it just goes on and on with the list of guys that passed way too soon. But here, I mean, just crazy. The day of the pay per view, when they find you in the hotel, I mean, just absolutely crazy. I mean, just
Yep.
terrible, terrible news. There's no way like there's not going to be a show, right? I mean, the show must go on, right? I mean, that's like the Vince
Yeah,
attitude, right?
yeah, yeah, and bro, that's why, like, a lot of the times, like in this case and with the Owen case, I don't know how these guys did it, bro. I don't know how they went out and performed, but that's where professionalism, really, really comes in, because I don't think I could have done it.
Man, just a crazy start to the show because it's almost like, is he really dead? Because he was the loose cannon. He tried all that crazy stuff. He got fired from WCW, but then he showed back up on TV. And like,
Right.
was he fired? Is he not fired? Then he got in an accident. Did he really get? I mean, he was doing so many different things. He's like trying to be unpredictable, trying to be the loose cannon. So, was there ever a thought that like, is he faking the death? Like, was there
No,
that thought or no?
never. No.
Just to me, it's just I know with him, you never know. It's like the Andy
Yeah.
Kaufman thing. It's like, is he,
Oh
he's
yeah,
just
no,
so
absolutely.
unpredictable. Yeah.
I like to believe that Andy Kaufman is still alive, man.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Letterman said that too. He's like, maybe he'll be my last guest when he had his
Yeah.
last show. Yeah. So Ken Shamrock, another thing, he's injured. He was originally supposed to team with Hawk and Animal against Nation of Domination. It's going to be a handicap match instead. Do you remember anything about Shamrock's injury? It didn't seem too severe because he wrestles basically, a few weeks later. But
Yeah,
anything?
man, I really don't. I mean, stuff that specific, man, I'm not really gonna remember. So I really don't.
So the Pillman news, Shamrock's injured. This is going to be Vince's last, basically, as the lead announcer. It's going to be the last one before he becomes Mr. Man in the character. Kind of a lot of like backstory. The debut of Kane. There's a lot of stuff kind of going on for this pay per view. So Dude Love was supposed to face Pillman. Obviously, that match gets scrapped, and they're going to add a minis match to kind of cover that up. I know you'll love that when we get to it because you love those matches, which is kind of funny. When I look at this, I'm like, I don't think Vince is the head writer yet because there's a midget match. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know
Yeah,
if
no,
he's involved yet.
I'm working on stories and segments of the show, but yeah, bro, I ain't writing no minis in. Like that is they're contractually obligated, whatever deal they have with whether it was AAA or whoever it was. So yeah, bro, that's all contractually that I have no involvement in.
So with this pay per view, okay, Bret Hart is the world champion, and we've talked about this for many weeks leading up. Him and Bulldog have a match later on against Vader and the Patriot flag match. So not a world title match. It's the semi-main event. The main event, of course, is the Hell in a Cell between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Does that kind of show you something right there? It's like, okay, they're not really pushing Patriot, not really pushing Vader, but the world champion Bret Hart is in a feud with those guys. And by the way, they're not in the main. Bret's not in the main event. Shawn Michaels and Undertaker are the main event.
God, see again, bro. It's the timeline. Is this way before Brett leaves?
No, this is a month before. He's
Yeah,
gone.
it's
He's
it's
gone in a
it's
month.
what we were talking about last time, bro. Yes,
Yep.
it's the Vince already knows he can't afford to pay Brett. He already knows that, bro. Didn't let bro listen. I did not know. I don't know if his inner circle didn't know. I mean, I would guess Bruce knew, and whoever was talent relations. I never know when Jr. came in and the JJ went out, but absolutely, bro. That he Vince knows he knows Brett ain't gonna be around. And bro, that's the thing too. You got to understand. Vince is really like when it comes to honor, um, man to man honor, his word type of thing, that means a lot to Vince. So the fact that let's face it, bro, he's going to have to renege on the deal.
Yep.
There's no other way to put it. He can't afford him, bro. He paid him a lot of money to keep him. Can't afford him. Knows he's got to renege on the deal, and 1,000% expects Brett to walk. So yes, that's what we are seeing here.
And he's openly, eventually, a few weeks after this, he's openly going to let him negotiate with WCW, which means, hey, get your money. I can't pay you, but they can. Get your
Yeah,
money, pal. Right?
yeah, yep, yep.
Which is kind of embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, I can't pay you, but Bischoff
Very,
can.
yeah, especially for a guy like him, bro. Forget about it, man.
So let's start the pay per view. The first match, the Nation of Domination, D'Lo Brown, Kama Mustafa, and The Rock, Rocky Maivia, defeated the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal in a handicap match in 12 minutes, 20 seconds. Obviously, Shamrock not there. It makes sense, right? Nation of Domination 3-on-2. They're going to go over Hawk and Animal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Was there any heat between Rock and Farouk at this point, or not yet?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. So that definitely is a slow simmering storyline in the background.
But the funny part is, like, Farouk will help the Nation win, and he cheats in the match to help them win, but they keep teasing, like, The Rock didn't want his help. You know what I mean? Like, they're teasing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Basically, and The Rock gets the win for the team. So it's like, oh, Farouk, I helped them. I helped you guys win. The Rock's like, no, I won.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the
you know what I mean? Like,
subtleties, bro.
yeah,
Exactly. I
yep.
mean, it's those subtleties that I really feel I'm missing today. Yes.
So basically, you're teasing The Rock because you guys obviously see something in him a little bit more. like he's maturing.
Yeah.
You're starting to build him up, obviously more for
Yeah,
IC
and
title and stuff, but you're building him.
there's no need of urgency to rush it. Just
Yep.
kind of let it organically happen, man. Yeah.
So, like I said, because Brian Pillman's death, his match with Dude Love is scrapped. So we get a minis match. Max Mini and Nova defeat Mosaic and Tarantula in the minis tag team match in about 7 minutes. I don't know, like what's the deal with the minis here at this point? I mean, we're about to hit the Attitude Era. We're kind of in the midst of it a little bit, and we're having a minis match.
Bro, again, it's the deals that were made. Bro, I don't know. Were they from AAA? Where were they from? Do you
Yeah,
know?
yes,
Okay,
AAA.
bro, I don't know if AAA paid the WWE X amount of dollars to put them on the show, to give them exposure. I mean, I don't know, but it was definitely all about the contractual deal with AAA. That's what it was all about. And that's why, again, if I'm involved at that point, to the extent that I was, that's where I would have said, guys, listen, I understand business and I understand you're making money off of this, but it's still kind of bastardizing the show a little bit. I would have said that, but I was not in the position to say that yet.
It just doesn't seem to fit quite as well, for
Yeah,
sure.
it doesn't fit. Yeah.
So then the Godwins, Henry O. Godwin and Phineas with Uncle Cletus, who was, I guess, the dirty white boy. I don't know what Uncle Cletus, that gimmick. I mean, remember TL Hopper and then Uncle Cletus? Just, I don't know, just weird. It didn't kind of fit there. But they defeat the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, and they win the WWF Tag Team Championship in about 12 minutes. The Godwins with that gimmick in late 97, winning the tag titles. I don't know, to me, almost is like, I guess it's a mid card title, or I guess they don't care about the tag titles. I know Vince is not a big tag team guy anyway. It just felt like, I don't know, wasn't that big of a deal to me, like the tag team titles at this point. Godwin's in
Yeah,
late 97. I don't know if it fit anymore.
yeah,
Uncle Cletus.
yeah. Well, the Godwin gimmick sucked. I mean, I never liked the Godwin gimmick. I inherited the Godwin gimmick, but I could tell you this: those two guys were the real deal, especially Mark Canterbury. They were the real deal. Also, bro, you got to understand they were very, very tight with Taker. And Taker, back then had a lot of pull.
Yes.
And Taker, bro, he got a lot of favor. And a lot of his buddies got a lot of favor. And I'm sure that had a lot to do with putting the belt on these guys.
So they actually really cement themselves as heels, and they beat up the Headbangers after the match too, even after they win the tag title. So really kind of just cementing themselves as heels, or as villainous. But to me, I don't know about that gimmick. You know what I mean? The,
I'm
the
with you.
gimmick and
I
that
agree
period.
with you
Yeah. Yeah.
100%, John. I would have never put that gimmick on them. No.
Now the next thing they do is very, I don't know, this doesn't really seem WWF like, it seems more WCW like. They do a little bit of a legend ceremony. Was basically for St. Louis wrestling and the legends of St. Louis. Jim Ross and Sonny were hosting. They honored Gene Kiniski, Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk Jr., Harley Race, Terry Funk, Lou Thez, and of course the legendary promoter Sam Mushnick. Any sort of reason behind this? Because it seems like Vince did this once in a great while, but not often.
Who did they honor again? Tell me who it was.
All it's like all NWA champions. So Gene Kiniski, Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk Jr., Harley Race, Terry Funk, Lou Thez, and Sam Mushnick. So basically all NWA champions,
Yeah.
all guys that would be in St. Louis a lot, and then the promoter Sam Mushnick, who obviously promoted all the
Yeah, bro.
shows.
I'm not sure where this idea came from. I'm not sure, but I mean, I could tell you, bro. St. Louis is really a rich, rich, rich wrestling town. You knew it when you were there. You felt it, bro. The fans were just so much smarter. I mean, really, there was a difference when we did a show in St. Louis. I don't know what triggered them in doing this, bro. I remember this, but I honestly don't remember the reasoning behind it. Bro, I don't know. Maybe they had to eat time. I don't know, bro, why they decided to do this.
Very interesting because it doesn't seem very Attitude Era-esque. It doesn't seem very WWF style. Like
Yeah,
WCW used to do it, Slamboree, Night of the Legends, and Legends Reunion, and they
yeah,
bring guys out and they put them in the Hall of Fame and different stuff. But it's not like a Vince thing. And now
yeah.
with the Hall of Fame, yes, but it's just I don't know, it just doesn't seem like Vince. Especially guys like Kaniski, who obviously never wrestled there, and Thez never
Yeah,
wrestled
I
there, and
agree. I agree with you. Yeah, I don't know why the decision was made, bro. I don't.
the Funks, which he never really did anything. And Harley Race was, obviously past his prime, but I mean, they didn't really do much with him. So it's very interesting that they went about it for that. So then we have next up a match for the vacant WWF Intercontinental Championship, of course, because of Stone Cold's injury. They had a little bit of a mini tournament. And the finals were Owen Hart and Farouk. Farouk loses to Owen Hart in about 7 minutes, 15 seconds. Owen Hart becomes the new WWF Intercontinental Champion. Basically, because Austin gets vacated, you kind of almost just go back to Owen. Is that the thought process here? Like, I guess we'll go back to him being the IC champ again because Austin's
Was
gone.
was this the Austin injury with Owen?
Yes, this is 2 months after the injury.
So
Yep,
this is the neck gimmick, the
yep,
stinger, and all that stuff.
yep. But Austin, it's funny. Austin is there. Like he physically gets involved. He's the guest timekeeper, the guest commentator. He kind of factors in. He kind of helps Owen win a little bit because he hits Farouk, so he could physically get involved, but he can't wrestle.
Yeah, this is really interesting, bro, because it's been well documented, like that. Uh, Steve never forgave Owen for that.
Right,
I
right.
mean, well documented, and he makes no bones about it. So I guess, bro, I'm assuming we're working towards a Owen Hart, Steve Austin match again.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, then that's what it's all about. The way Owen laid out Austin unintentionally did not make Steve look good, and I'm sure he didn't feel good about it. So now we're gonna put steam on Owen. We're gonna give Owen the belt so Austin can come back and get his revenge.
Now Owen is the new Intercontinental Champion, or again because he wins the vacate title here from Farouk, and obviously Austin is working his way back slowly but surely. He'll be working his way back pretty soon from that
Yeah,
serious or what he thought was a serious neck injury.
yeah.
Ended up being, thank God, not so bad. But a few years later, he has neck surgery and he's going to miss a year of action. So
Yeah, no, bro. I could tell you as a shoot, bro, he was scared to death when that happened. I mean, there was a time there, bro, where he thought he was paralyzed, and it scared the living shit out of him, bro. And he never ever forgave Owen. And bro, it's funny because some of the things I've read and stuff, like he's hinted about Owen doing it intentionally. Bro, that would be the very last guy on the roster that I would ever think would hurt you. Like, like I love Steve. I mean, I'm Steve's biggest fan. However, if when he has hinted about that, bro, you never in a million years would get me to believe that. Not freaking Owen, bro.
thing is, too, a lot of people don't remember this. About 5 years earlier, Austin kind of did the same thing to this guy Masahiro Chono when they were working in Japan, legendary Japanese wrestler. But he kind of did almost the same similar thing, and Chono ended up getting a stinger. So it's almost like, wow, did Austin forget that happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that accidents can happen, and
yeah.
almost in the eerily similar pile driver way.
That's
So
weird, bro.
yeah,
I didn't even know that, John. That's weird.
so that's why I always thought, like, wow, it's weird. Austin, I know he technically kind of takes a year away from his career and his prime, and he was really on fire at that point. But I don't know, I kind of blame him. But then Brett always said Brett always got on Owen like, you got to be more like apologetic. Like I know it was an accident, but you know what I mean? Not kiss his ass, but you got to apologize. And I guess Owen just thought it was an accident. Not mean spirited or not
Bro, you know
mean
what it
about it.
is again. To Owen's defense, bro. Listen, man, we are all human beings. And bro, in some situations, you just don't know how to act or what to say. You know what I mean, bro? I mean, my God, if I accidentally injured somebody in that way, sometimes you just don't know exactly what to say, so you don't say anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because, like I said, man, Owen was not that guy, bro. I mean, so yeah, I mean the whole thing was really, really kabuki-ish, man.
So now they add another match in to fill in the time that would have had Dude Love and the Brian Pillman match. So there's another
More
match.
minis, more minis.
No, you're going to love this one. The Disciples of Apocalypse, 8 Ball Chains, Crush, and Skull defeat Los Boricuas, Jose, Jesus, Miguel, and Savio Vega in an 8-man
Uh,
tag. Went about 9 minutes. DOA gets the win. Crush pins Jesus for the victory. So basically, they just threw out, you know, gang warfare match or whatever. They just threw out an
yeah,
8-man tag.
yeah. They just needed to eat up some time. They always loved the Boricuas. Those guys were great workers, and that's why they were there. And then you had DOA, who were just physically so impressive. So
Yep.
yeah, bro, that match was just thrown in there to fill time.
Yep. So then we have the semi-main event: Bret Hart and British Bulldog of the Hart Foundation taking on Vader and the Patriot in a flag match. So you got to capture the flag, basically. Canada, USA, that thing. Do you like this? Is this in
Yeah,
97? It just seems like 1987 ish. You
I'm
know what I
with you,
mean?
bro.
Like Hogan and Nikolai
Yeah.
Volkov from New Jersey. You know what I
I'm
mean?
with you. I'm with you, bro. The flag match is so freaking campy. Um, but I guess just looking for some kind of a gimmick to make the match a little bit different. Obviously, you got the cage match to follow, so it can't be like a street fight or something violent like that. So it's the you got Canada and the USA, so it's the good old flag match that's as campy as shit. I agree with you 1000%, John.
Do you know the little tweak that they made? The usually is capture the flag. This wasn't capture the flag. This is you capture the flag after you win. So you have to win by pinfall or submission. Then you do the flag stuff. So it's a little bit better, but still terrible, corny
I'm
with the
with you.
flag stuff. Yeah.
I agree with you 100%.
So Bret Hart and British Bulldog defeat the Patriot and Vader. Bret Hart rolls up the Patriot for the victory. Just a roll up, not like a strong victory for Bret. You know what I mean? I know Canada wins. He gets away with a roll up on the Patriot. Doesn't scream like world champion strong. I don't
Because
know. Didn't
they're backing off. That's
yeah,
why.
yeah. He
Definitely
gets the
backing off.
win, but it's like you win like that.
He's
It's
got
like
to
a cheap.
win. He's got
Yeah.
to win. He's got to win, and that's the least impressive way that he can win.
Funny thing is here, like, okay, the Americans actually attack them when they're doing the flag thing afterwards and kind of like knock them out of the ring. But everybody kind of remembers this match, or a lot of fans remember this match because I don't know if you'll remember this. Fans try to interfere and like climb into the ring and grab the flag. Like, do you remember that at all? Security had
Oh
to get these
God,
two fans. They
yeah,
were like trying to. I don't know if they just hated Brett in Canada that much,
yeah,
or if they were drunk or what. But there was
yeah.
fans that were trying to interfere in the match.
I don't remember that.
Might have been like one of them, like not. I mean, the match was pretty good, but that might have been like the most memorable part. Like, who the hell are these guys? Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, these
Yeah,
fans are trying to grab the flag. What are they doing?
that's crazy, man.
Brett had a lot of heat at that point, though. He
Yeah, he
really did.
did. Yeah, he did.
I feel like he was maybe the best promo that you guys had in that time because
He was
he
great.
was like he was just spitballing, like
I
shooting
don't
like,
know,
hey,
bro. He never like people say Brett was a bad promo, and I'm like, bro, go back and watch that heel USA stuff. Are you freaking kidding me, bro? None of that stuff was scripted, man. He was all, like you said, spitballing that stuff. Man, he was cutting great promos, man.
I know you helped Michaels a lot with his promos. Did you help Brett at all with his or no?
I helped them. I helped them a little. Bro, it's funny, man, because there was a difference with promos with guys that really relied on their work. Guys that really relied on their work, bro, tended to want more help with their promos so they could really concentrate on the match more. Like Double J was that way. Like Double J would let me write every single word for him because he was concentrating on the match. And when I say, bro, when I worked with Double J, it was a little different because I wrote Jeff's stuff verbatim. Jeff wanted word for word. Bret was more of, bro, these are the things you need to hit. These are the things you need to get over. And bro, like I would write a promo because I just need that, for my sake in laying out the whole show to know what Bret's going to say and whatnot. And I would write a promo and then I would give it to him. But Bret would take that and 100% put it in his own words.
Bullet points, if you will.
Yeah.
Man, he was awesome at that point.
He
It's funny.
was.
It's like Vince couldn't afford to pay him, but he was doing some of the best work of his career at that
I
point. He was
agree,
awesome.
man. I agree with you, John. Yep.
So the main event is up next. Shawn Michaels defeating The Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell. This was to determine the number one contender for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship at Survivor Series the following month. So obviously Michaels versus, and we know where that's headed for the Montreal Screwjob Survivor Series '97 in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. But here Michaels defeats Undertaker. DX is with him. Rick Rude, China, Triple H. There's a spot where they're able to get outside the ring because they destroy a cameraman. They beat the hell out of him. So then they end up going to the top of the cage, and Michaels gets thrown off, not like Foley, but he gets thrown off top of the cage through the table. Obviously, Foley a year later kind of one-upped him, but great match. It just one of those things where Michaels and Taker, whenever they wanted to, they could just put on an absolute classic. I know your buddy Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars, so just an unbelievable match. But of course, I think the most memorable part of the match, besides it being awesome, is the debut of Kane. He comes out. Vince says, "Oh my God, it's gotta be Kane." He goes nuts, really puts it over. Paul Bearer is kind of leading the way. Kane rips off the door. Undertaker is shocked. Who is this guy? It's gotta be Kane, his brother. Kane beats the shit out of him. He lets Michaels pin him. He walks out. Michaels is now the number one contender. But what do you make of this whole thing? The Hell in a Cell, which is a new thing for you guys. Michaels gets the idea from Buzz Sawyer and Tommy Rich, except for they do it times 1,000. Like he gives them this small idea, and he said he came back and they turned it into this gigantic, awesome cage. So what do you think about Michaels winning the Hell in a Cell, Undertaker, Kane, the whole shebang?
I do want to say one thing, bro, because I want to clarify this because this really pisses me off. This is the Mandela effect, bro. You know the Mandela effect?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. I want to make one thing perfectly clear. And I'm not saying this to take credit. It pisses me off because there's a reason for it. So, bro, I remember it was me, Vince, and Cornette at the time booking. I remember. And I go to Vince's house. We go to, and Vince is talking about this match between Undertaker and Shawn.
Yep.
And he's talking about this cage because Shawn and Taker don't want to be limited to just the ring. They want to be able to fight outside of the ring, but still be in a cage. So that's where I first heard of the concept of the match. So, it was not my idea. That came from the wrestlers because they wanted more room to work.
Right.
Okay. So I'm told about the concept of this match. And again, bro, I am not doing this to take credit 25 years after. I don't give a shit. I'm telling you this for a reason because it pisses me off. I gave Vince the name The Hell in the Cell. Okay? The Hell in the Cell. Because, bro, the whole idea of it is the cell is a character. The cell is a character. Hell in the Cell. I don't know how years later this became Hell in a Cell. Bro, Hell in a Cell means it could be any cell. Hell in a Cell. It could be a jail cell. This is the cell. This is a character. And that was my thought. And when you go back and you watch Raw and the build to this, it's Hell in the Cell. I don't know how this became Hell in a Cell. over the years, because Hell in a Cell is a whole different meaning than Hell in the Cell. The Cell means there is only one cell, the Cell. So I just want to clarify all that. So
Good point.
yeah, bro, those guys had an unbelievable match. Bro, think about it. Think about it. If they didn't have an unbelievable match, the Hell in a Cell could have been one and done. Like there could have never been another one if it would have been a fart in church. So the fact that they had such an unbelievable match, we still have that match, God knows how many years later. To me, bro, the Kane, like you said, bro, was the call. It was the call. I mean, the call to this day still gives me goosebumps, and you don't get that anymore, bro. You just don't get it anymore. But this was a perfect way. You had an unbelievable match, bro. See, now, here's where you're going to get some of the wrestling purists disagreeing with me, because here's what they're going to tell you. These two guys tore the house down, and then their work is overshadowed by Kane. And that's what they're going to tell you. But I will tell you this, bro. Yes, they had a hell of a match. Nobody was going to forget that match. And there wouldn't have been a better way to introduce this character. That was tailor-made, bro, to get all this business done. And like I said, bro, the call, bro, there are so many times on Raw, bro, where something that is supposed to be important happens, and 2 seconds later, the announcers have totally forgotten about it. It happens like every single week. And back then, man, so many of the calls just stand out in my mind. That was such a big part of the show. So, yeah, man, all those things coming together was really, really, really memorable.
To me, awesome match, but the post or not post match, but the ending of the match is awesome because it's so character driven. Like, holy shit, who is this guy? Oh my god, he's a monster! Legit main eventer. Boom, just by Undertaker's reaction, beating up Undertaker. Michaels winning because of him. Vince's reaction on commentary. I mean, and Paul Bearer being with him. Everything's like, okay, got another main eventer now.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. But again, that's the thing, man. It's like, this is what doesn't happen anymore. Like, bro, when I knew we were introducing a new character, when I knew a wrestler was coming back from injury, bro, you're usually given like a timetable. Like if Austin's out and I know he's going to be out in 2 weeks, what I'm going to do over that time, bro, is I'm going to set the table for Austin. I'm going to create circumstances, bro, so when he returns, when Kane arrives, the place is going to become unglued. And, bro, they just did this on Raw a couple of weeks ago. Matt Riddle was gone for God knows how long, and how they introduced Matt Riddle back to the show is they hit his music. No, bro, you should have set the stage for Riddle where, you would have been guaranteed that when he hit at the appropriate time to make a save, whatever it was he was going to do, you blew the roof off the place. And they don't do that anymore, bro. So, like, again, bro, whatever's going on with Alexa Bliss, like, we got no idea. But when she comes back, bro, they're going to hit her music. She's going to come back, and it's going to be business as usual.
Yep.
Setting the table for a character like Kane, bro, is just so freaking important, man.
And this is going to be a huge storyline kind of going forward. Obviously, he's going to be future champion too, but I mean, this is a huge storyline going forward with Undertaker and Kane, and obviously setting up Shawn Michaels getting the title from Bret Hart, then Austin slowly but surely coming back for revenge against Owen. Things are being built up in the proper manner right here.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, 100%.
Thumbs up on the pay-per-view, thumbs down in the middle. Like, what do
Oh,
you think, Ken?
definitely thumbs up. This is a iconic. I mean, and again, bro, I always say this with any television show or any pay-per-view, they're gonna remember the last thing they see.
Yep.
That's what they're gonna remember, the last thing they see. So yeah, bro, this ending was really iconic.
All right, so let's head towards the plugs. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Two Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com. Vince, what do you got?
Yeah, everything is russosbrand.com. Just check it out. You'll get all my podcasts. It'll send you in all the different directions, but that's the place to go.
Vince, you better not be mailing it in, all right? Don't
Oh,
mail it in, okay?
please, bro. Bro, that's the one thing that pisses me off so much, bro, because you could say a lot of things about me, but the hours I spend podcasting, bro, like really, man. So please.
True. All right, on that note, thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you right back here next time for the next podcast. See you then, folks.